I wonder sometimes if when we get information, you see a vision, you have a dream, you get information from heaven, if it's really a downward directed thing, or if God is looking to see how your heart responds. I wonder if God's trying to have a conversation with us, and instead we're like, okay, God, we got it from here. I wonder sometimes with prophetic people, if we're looking for the information so hard that when we see something, we just go, oh, that must be it. And then this is what God's trying to do. So we see there's consequences coming for America. There's consequences coming. We've made some really bad choices along the way. There's consequences coming. No empire has ever existed beyond 200, 300 years. There's consequences coming. Like, it's just, this is the cycle. We got to make some changes, right? I wonder if prophets are seeing the consequences coming and the Lord is showing them, and then they're like, well, that's because God's judging America. And then we begin to prophesy and decree the thing that we saw, not realizing that the Lord was sharing the information to see how our hearts responded. If you know the heart of your Father, you know that He does not want any to perish. None. He ain't trying to destroy. He paid for the sins of the world. That stuff is already taken care of. This is a faith issue. I wonder if sometimes the Lord searches to and fro over the face of the earth to see if there's somebody who will agree with what His heart is saying. And He's crying out for mercy over people. And I wonder sometimes if the church, I just wonder, have we become so irritated by the world that when we hear things could go bad, we're like, oh, yep, that's what's going to happen. Deserve it. And the Lord's going, oh, I thought maybe we could have a conversation and I could find somebody who would cry out for mercy. Lord, would you sweep away the righteous and the unrighteous? At the same time, Lord, even with Sodom and Gomorrah, God was going to spare them for a very, very small amount of people. Are we so keen on agreeing with destruction, consequences? Are we so keen on looking for that stuff that we're failing to understand what God's actually after? Are you alive? So God tells Isaiah, you're going to die, and is actually initiating a conversation. He's not giving him the diagnosis. He's looking to see what happens. And look at what takes place. In that moment, Hezekiah responds in humility. God, have mercy. And in that moment, God goes, all right, I like your heart position. Let's go ahead and heal you. Isaiah, the prophet, whoops, just got the word, that's got to be a tense situation. It's got to not feel good. Okay? He's got to correct it, retract, got to do whatever, right? Isaiah's a part of this conversation now. So now, look at what takes place. I love this. Hezekiah goes, hey, because I got to go to the house of the Lord and present myself in that place, the holy place, where if I go in there with a disease, God says He kills you. It's not okay, unclean, yeah? Because of that, I'm going to go ahead and need a sign to confirm that I should do that. And since Isaiah, you know how we just flip-flopped, I would like to find out from heaven which one's right. Isaiah goes, I like it. And then a sign or a wonder confirms what God's saying. Can I tell you, church, that signs and wonders are supposed to be a part of the Christian faith? I don't know if we know how to do them, and so this is kind of an issue, and so that's why I'm coaching you a little bit this morning. But Isaiah goes, all right, what's the sign? Do you want it to go up 10 stairs or down 10 stairs? Would you like time to go forward or backwards? How should we play this out? Right? Hezekiah goes, let's make it the hard one. Look at Isaiah's response. So Isaiah goes away and begins to cry out to the Lord. Okay, why? Because it's the prophet's job now, by faith, to make this happen. I know that we get encouraging words. I know that the Lord is communicating to people. He's speaking to people. I want to remind you of something, that when you hear from heaven, that when you begin to make choices that are rooted in what God's saying, that nothing on earth can stop it from taking place. That when God speaks to us, that our heart and our conversation with him matters, that he's taking into account your responses. And we're looking for alignment with heaven. We're looking for a heavenly witness to what we think should happen. If you want to make decisions that transform the world around you, then they need to be rooted in God's voice. I have lots of good ideas of the things that I think should happen. I got a lot of that. I got opinions on everything if you want them. Okay? But those opinions turn into faith when I hear the Lord speak. As a leader, I make the best decisions I can. I try, really try. I study, I work hard. I'm continually looking for better ways, trying to grow, trying to become a better leader, because I feel personally like part of my calling is to help people align their lives with what God wants to have happen. And so this is kind of what I've spent my life on, just coaching people and talking to people, helping them to make decisions that are in alignment with what God's purposes are for them. And in the process of doing this over and over so many times, this is like what I do all the time, just continuously. I study the Proverbs to absorb wisdom so that I can help coach people. I look at the systems of the world, and I'm trying to get better at this intentionally because I know that if God's people will make faith decisions, everything will change. I know that the industry that you are in, how it looks dark, and just how can God touch or do anything in Hollywood? No. I know that one person who agrees with God is enough to flip the script. I know that all it takes is a Daniel working in the Oval Office. Doesn't even need to have the main seat, just a counselor. I know that all it takes is one prophetic person who is listening to heaven and then counseling with heaven's advice. I know that all it takes is that to flip the nation. It's not a loss. Are you kidding me? So then listen to me. What if God has strategically placed each one of you in families and in businesses and in cities all around, and you are righteous people? What if all of us just chose to, slow down our decisions, tune in with God, find out what's happening, and then make decisions based off that heavenly witness?